First things first, I went off for fabric at Joann's. I found this lovely pink and glittery number, and I knew it would be perfect for this little sketch I've got. That means my next step is covering myself in tape and cutting out the pieces. That meant sewing time, but there was a little bit of a problem. It looks cute until you got that and that. It's just too much. That meant restarting, but that's okay because this time it actually covered my bra. Now there's only one problem. Machine jammed about 4 times in a row, so I gotta fix that, and I guess I'll exercise it. Pray for me, friends. The exorcism was actually very successful. I shook my machine over my head until this fell out. Thus, it was sewing time once more. Now for try on 2. You know, it's not terrible. It does have some issues along the sides, but not bad. Good start. It was at this point that I realized I had to unpick the piece anyway to add a lining. But that's boring, so let's have a puppy break instead. Now the next step came when I had to trace all of my pattern pieces, all 2 of them. And look at this. I really thought this was going to be such a cool transition. I would just pull it away and you'd see these beautiful little drawings, and nope, they're just so wrinkly and crinkly, but you know what? You get the idea. It's fine. Once I pinned and sewed the lining together, I decided it was time to prep for a zipper. So what I did is I sewed 2 parallel straight lines, straight stitches, straight down the back, and then I just used my scissors to cut right in the middle. Is this the correct way to do this? Absolutely. I dare you to show it to your professor. Next was the skirt, which was just a really long 2 rectangles. Dos. So I sewed them together and that was a skirt. But here's the thing about the skirt. I planned where I was going to put that slit, and if you look, I put the slit over here instead of over here. And that's where it belongs. So I decided to re-sew it, but when I re-sewed it, it looked really weird. Like, you see that tuck? I don't know what I did wrong there. Well, I do, but at least I had the skirt in the correct spot now. So I just had to fix that. And I was so tired, I was like, I'm not even gonna record it, it's fine. With that magically fixed, it was time to add appliques to the front. And look, I decided that I really wanted this dress to be super nice, even though it was like my first real dress that I made from scratch with patterns and all of that fancy stuff. So I gave myself a rule, and that rule was no hot glue. Not even on the flowers, which meant that I got tired real fast and was like, I gotta do something else. So as I babysat, I went through and grabbed my wire to start on the wings. And since I just winged the wings, let me take this time to tell you what I should have told you at the beginning of this video. This costume was my very first Renaissance costume. At this time in my life, I was much more used to doing costumes for theater shows. That usually meant picking out pieces, maybe sewing a couple things, but more than anything else, organizing costume pieces together and on other people. I typically have a director to lean on, a script to analyze, and all the things that you can use as a crutch. All in all, this piece, this costume, was meant to push me out of my comfort zone, get me to experiment with new materials, challenge my sewing skills, and most importantly, make mistakes. Speaking of mistakes, you ready for another one? I cling wrapped my hands to make a glove pattern, and then I went through and testing it, I was like, I don't know if these are going to be tight enough. So I cut it. Blissfully unaware, I then wrapped my hair so it would be curly in the morning, because that was when I was going to Renaissance. Well, I should have been sleeping like the baby before me. I was instead sewing together my gloves and discovering this. But don't worry, I solved it. So, I re-sewed the side. Good news. They're cute. I'm never taking them off. Bad news. They're too tight. I'm never taking them off. Good thing it's reveal time. Otherwise, that would be a problem.